sun is shining, the birds are singing, yet there seems to be an air of abnormality around. You are walking down a perfectly ordinary street, surrounded by perfectly ordinary people. A small, squat man sits on a bench reading a paper. A woman walks by, her high-heeled shoes making unpredictable noises on the floor on the cobbled street. Two teenage girls walk out of a nearby shop, chattering and giggling. You walk down this cobbled street, looking for your destination, but through this urban jungle, it seems more difficult than you first thought. Then you notice people, they seem to be staring at you. But why would they be staring at you? Yes, you are different, but the look these people are giving you is like a mix of superiority and sympathy. Why, a woman walked past just then, staring. Her eyebrows were almost at her hairline. They were that high. Just ignore them. You just ignore them though. These muggles know no better. Now, just along here, I'm sure you remember they said, you turn into a narrow street to the left. This is not as busy, this is better. Radcliffe's Rare Books, Granger's Record Store. Here we are. A very peculiar building it is. The windows are all boarded up. The sign that hung above the door was so weathered and blackened, it was barely readable. Even a windowless door was a dark black colour. The single sign that hung on the tarnished brass posts from the wall showed a female figure in a long black cloak stirring a big black pot. Looking around for any curious muggles who might be wondering why you're walking into a supposedly derelict building, you hastily turn the ancient brass handle and step into the Leaky Caudron. Immediately the musty smell hits you, along with the sharp smell of liquor. It is quite pleasant though. A thin woman sits alone in a corner, muttering incantations to herself. Another woman sits with her back to you, slightly to the right of the other woman. She is wearing deep purple robes, with a matching witch's hat on her head, which sits slightly lopsided on her grey frizzy hair. The barman, an old man wearing a large pair of glasses, smiles and says, "What can I get you?" You ask for a butterbeer before you venture into the unknown, and sit on a bar stool beside a man who is reading an old green book. You glance at it and see that it is entitled Magical Water Plants of the Mediterranean. He seems deeply engrossed in the book, so you leave him to it. The barman asks for 2 sickles. You reach into your pocket and extract 2 small silver coins. You hand them over, and in exchange, he gives you your butterbeer. It's very strange. It's like a tall, white glass, a toffee-coloured liquid, too thin but too thick. Quite strange. With a yellowy white froth on top. You've never seen a drink like it. You raise it to your lips and take a sip. It is possibly the most delicious drink you've ever tasted. A creamy yet bitter taste, which matched its silky golden texture. Very different to fire whiskey, which for the record has the power to dissolve one's throat with a single sip. You look around. There are quite a lot of people here. Some reading books, some talking to others, even a lone wizard in a corner who sits stirring a miniature cauldron. So much to do. So, you drink the last of your butterbeer, push your empty glass towards the landlord, then with a nod of thanks you get up and proceed outside. You walk around the bar towards the back exit though, because once you get outside, you see a wall. A perfectly ordinary wall by all accounts, but people of magical blood know no different. Take out your wand. It chose you when you were 11 years old. You remember it perfectly. Elm with a unicorn hair core, 9.5 inches. Unyielding is what Ollivander described it as. You stare at the centre of the wall, where the bricks were slightly more eroded than the rest of the wall. Now, to any ordinary muggle, this would look like an ordinary wall. But people of magical blood, oh, they know. You tap your wand on every other brick in a circle around the centre. Then you take a step back. After a few seconds pause, the bricks start dissolving. No, wait a minute. They are moving. How peculiar. With swift, short movements, the bricks part in a perfectly vertical line and solidify, forming a doorway right before your eyes. A doorway to another world. Welcome to Diagon Alley. Oh, it's like you've stepped into another dimension. Shops, the most peculiar shops lined up one after another. It's like a medieval world, a magical world. You begin to walk down this extraordinary street. Witches and wizards in long, black, purple cloaks walk up and down, some carrying boxes, others carrying long broomstick-type parcels. One woman even carries an owl on her arm. The first shop is called Aelop's Owl Emporium. The sign reads, at least a dozen cages sit outside the shop. Tawny owls, snowy owls, barn owls, long-eared owls, even a small rodent-sized owl, which seemed to be too excited for its own good, zooming around in its cage. The next shop has nothing outside, just a horizontal broomstick in the window, and by the amount of people outside gathered, gazing at it, I'd say it was the latest model. The sign reading Firebolt confirmed this. Flourish and Blott's bookstore. You enter this shop, and immediately you notice the clogged, musty smell of paper and ink. Old-fashioned bookshop. This is a lot better than Muggle bookshops. Books as big as your arm. Some books small enough to fit into your pocket. Books for everything. You gaze at the titles. Herbology, charms, house care, muggle studies, Quidditch. You gaze at the titles in the Quidditch section. The Beater's Bible, Flying with the Cannons, Quidditch teams of Britain and Ireland, and that's just the start of it. You turn around and see an old wizard asleep in a chair behind an old desk, leaning slightly to one side. His wand was in his left hand. As he snores, he sends violet sparks flying out of the end of his wand. Another witch wanders round the shop, gazing at the, browsing. She stops at the charms section. But no matter. Time to move on. Lots to do. You exit the shop, leaving the old wizard to his dreams. You carry on walking down Diagon Alley. Florian Fortescue's ice cream parlour sits opposite Flourish and Blots, with Madame Malkin's robes for all occasions next to it. You see a young boy of about 11 being fitted for his Hogwarts robes. Then you come across another street, with the eerie atmosphere, the claustrophobic appearance, and the dark weathered buildings. You only know this could only be Nocturne Alley. You carry on walking though. It is best not to venture down these dark paths. An old poster sits on a wall. Wanted, Rodolphus Lestrange, 10,000 galleon reward. It's quite worn and weathered. It looks like it's been there a few years at the least. You feel sure you saw something in the Daily Prophet about him just the other day. What was that? Right. You carry on walking. You see signs of the huge, white, majestic building at the end of the alley. This could only be Gringotts Wizard Bank. No safer place. Put your money. You walk past a few more shops. Ollivanders. I think everybody remembers their first trip to Ollivanders, don't they? You remember you set his hair on fire trying out your very first wand. I think he remembers you. Ollivander remembers everybody. You walk up to the window and press your nose against it. There is a little boy in there, but no sign of Ollivander. He's probably searching for wands at the back of the store. Hundreds upon hundreds of boxes lay stacked up the walls. Very peculiar shop, but a favourite nonetheless. The magical menagerie. Broomstick Quidditch supplies. Alright. Maybe it's time to go to Hogsmeade now. You've always wanted to visit the Shreiking Shack, remember? The rumours are quite horrific. Professor Dumbledore up at the school used to tell you the most strangest stories. Okay, it's time to disapparate. You never liked the feeling. It's like somebody pulling you through the air by your intestines. It's not pleasant, but it's faster than the firebolt nonetheless. Okay, here goes. You can't help but think you're going to end up splintering yourself. Last time you remember you left your eyebrows behind. Okay, focus. Put your hand in your robe pocket. Extract your wand and hold it tightly. Picture Hogsmeade in your head. The tall, thatched cottages, the shops. Say it over and over again. And turn to the right. Immediately, a feeling of nausea comes over you. You feel like you're being squeezed through a small tube, far too small to fit you. You're being compressed by all directions. After a few seconds, you see Hogsmeade, and you arrive. That could have been a softer landing. You get up and check yourself. Head, arms, legs, teeth, nails, yep, everything seems to be there. Right. You seem to have apparated just outside the Hogshead pub, a few dozen yards from the Shreiking Shack. Ah well, you're getting the hang of apparating anyway. I don't think anybody can apparate it precisely where they want to. Right, start walking to the south. I think that's where it is. You can tell immediately this is a wizarding town. All the houses here are very different to muggle houses. Door passing Madame Puddifoot's tea shop, encrusted with couples and pink doilies and long lace curtains. Zonko's joke shop. You used to spend hours in there as a child, browsing all the practical jokes and tricks. Your favourites were the fake ones. But your father wasn't too happy at having his own wand replaced by that transfigured touch. Honeydukes. You enter this shop just to smell it and see it. The sickly sweet smell that reignited all your childhood memories of coming here with a mother. She let you choose some to take home once a week. You are an avid collector of chocolate frog cards. You still have some at home, don't you? You have about 6 of Merlin, though. Rows upon rows of jars fill the shelves, from the floor right up to the ceiling. Sweets of every shape, colour and texture imaginable. Bertie Potts, every flavour beans, exploding candy, licorice ones, cauldron cakes. You feel your mouth watering just looking at them all. But no, you mustn't. You remember the last time you were brave enough to eat every flavour bean? Gherkin flavour. Ugh. Every flavour. They mean every flavour. Right, you leave now. Carry on walking. It's quite a nice day today. It is autumn. Surprisingly sunny for autumn, though. You should come to Hogsmeade in the winter. Oh, a layer of snow over everything. It's beautiful. You pass Madame Rosmerta on the way. She's muttering to herself something about somebody not returning their owl. How peculiar. You keep walking. The sun is shining brighter and brighter. It's almost midday, you think. You come to the end of the village now. You can see the Shreiking Shack in the distance. It's not that far away, though. You hear an owl hoot somewhere nearby. Ah, Shreiking Shack, this way, reads a sign on an old wooden picket fence. Such a strange house. Old. It looks as though it would topple over at any moment. Despite the sunny autumn weather, however, The place has an eerie aura about it. With some trepidation, you step forward to enter it. The door opens with a loud, slow creak. The walls are tall and grey. Muddy footprints line the floor where you are into the depths of the house. Wallpaper is peeling off the walls. There once was a carpet here, but all that remains now are a few scraps along the border. Just bare floorboards now line the floors. The windows are so encrusted with dirt, dust and grime that it actually feels like it's midnight inside. It just adds to the eerie atmosphere. You step forwards even more. The legends of how this house came about are scary indeed, but it is adrenaline driving you forward. You whip out your wand just before shutting the door behind you. Oh, it's darker than ever now. Lumos. A bit of light. At least you can see where you're going now. But the light hits the random objects strewn around the floor. It casts strange shadows on the walls. It looks like an animal has been here. And you notice there are stretch marks on the wall, shredding the worn wallpaper. What was that? You can hear a tapping noise coming from upstairs. Do you go up, or do you back out of the door behind you slowly? You are frozen with fear. The tapping has stopped, has it? Oh, use your wand to guide you. Follow it. You go through the door in front of you. It slowly creaks shut behind you, which really does not help your state of mind at the moment. You come to the stairs. The side of the stairs, a long dark corridor, disapparates into the distance. You can't see where it ends. There can be somebody stood in the shadows over there, and you wouldn't be able to see them. This thought does not help you, does it? Right. Use your wand. Start walking up the stairs, one step at a time. Stay quiet though. The stairs are so old, they groan under your weight. They creak louder than the door. The wind blows against the house, creating a strange noise, whistling through the open windows. The banister looks so rotten, you dare not touch it, for fear of it collapsing. It's that strange feeling you get when you can feel somebody watching you. You can feel their eyes boring into you. You can't hear anything. They must be a few years old at the least. You walk over to the window to the left and look out. You see nothing but the forbidden forest below you. A dark shadow moves across the grass towards the house, but you don't really pay attention. Probably just an animal or a rabbit of some sort. Okay. You walk towards the door. You grab the tarnished brass doorknob. You take hold, turn it, and push the door open. Your wand casts a yellow glow upon the room. It seems even more dark than the rest of the house, if possible. You walk in to investigate.